Thinking of you cards are cards that we just really need to always have on hand. Am I right? Well, today we're going to be creating three different quick, easy 5-minute DIY thinking of you cards that are irresistibly beautiful. Hi, everybody. I'm Connie Stewart with simplysimplestamping.com, and I'm thrilled that you could join me for today's video. Today's cards we're going to be creating with the flashcard system. If you guys are familiar with flashcards, you're going to be so glad you stopped by because all three of these cards are created with just those two little pieces of cardstock. I'm very excited to share how to create these cards. So we're going to head over to my stamping table and we're going to get to creating. I loved this card in particular, especially that Blackberry Bliss and the Sahara Sand. And my friends, look at that. That's our supply list. Oh my goodness, how easy is that? I'm going to start with the Sahara Sand card base, and this is cut 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25 inches. And then I'm going to need two pieces here. These are my flashcards. I have Blackberry Bliss and Basic White. So the Blackberry Bliss, that is cut 2 3/4 by 4.25, and my Basic White is 2.5 by 4. We're going to do a little creative cutting to these. So how about we go ahead and do that now, because we're going to be ready to do our stamping. I have my handy dandy paper trimmer, and we're going to start with that piece of Blackberry Bliss. And we need to cut this down to 2 inches, so that'll be 2 by 4.25. Hang on to this piece, we're going to use that. Now we're going to bring in that Basic White, the 2.5-inch side at the top, and yep, we're going to cut it down to 2 inches as well. So this will give me a little 1/2 inch by 4 inch. And you see that's going to layer. We're going to use that for our sentiment. And then we have this piece. Now I do want to do one more quick cut. Let's rotate that around so that that 4 inches at the top, and let's cut it down to 3 3/4. Just to give it a little extra, that is some official scrap. So this will give us, like I said, it'll give us kind of a nice little border at the top and the bottom. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and trim that one down. All right, let's stamp. So I'm going to feature the Flowering Bloom stamp set on this card. Now, you guys, I said it was a 5-minute card, and I'm not lying. Look at the detail in that stamp. This means we don't have to do any coloring. We can stamp and be done. And if you guys like stamp and be done, this card is for you. I'm going to bring in a Blackberry Bliss ink pad, and I'm going to take that large flower there. We're going to ink that, and it is going to be too big for the cardstock. That's okay. But I'm just going to take it to about right here. It really doesn't matter. I just kind of want that flower centered as best I can, and get ready for the wow. Oof, oh, that detail. It is beautiful. Let me set that off to the side because I do want to go ahead now and work on my sentiment. Now, when you're looking for a stamp set or a sentiment from a stamp set, you're going to want one that's long, all right? So this thank you, of course, would not fit, but your kindness is so appreciated will. I can take that, ink that up, and I want to stamp this over on the left-hand side because we're going to do a little flag punching here. So we'll stamp that over on this side, and you can see, there we go. It is a tight fit, but remember, we have two-sided paper, and so if you do mess up, you can always do it on the other side. Okay, we have one more bit of stamping, and that is here on our Sahara Sand card base. And so I'll bring in a Sahara Sand ink pad because I do want this to be very subtle. This is also from the Flowering Blooms stamp set. So I didn't have to bring in lots of stamp sets for this one. And I'm just going to adhere those beautiful little vine flowers here on the right-hand side of the card. I said it was a fast card, so here we go. Let's go ahead and adhere these two pieces together. I've got some adhesive here on the back. And I want you to notice I'm kind of bringing it up here at the top. And these are the exact same size. Remember, we cut them both down to 2 inches. So I left myself a little bit more of a border down there at the bottom. Now we're gonna set that off to the side because we need to do a quick little punch here to create a tag. I like to make it easy, and so we're going to use our Build-A-Banner punch. And this one here, remember, this was 1/2 inch. So here's my flag. And you notice there's a groove already set perfectly for that 1/2 inch size. We give that a punch, and look at that. We have an instant perfect tag. Now we take the Blackberry Bliss, and remember, this is actually 3/4 of an inch. And guess what? There is a groove for that one as well. Line that up in the groove, push it in as far as it'll go, and now I have a perfect flag there as well. These, as you can see, are now going to layer perfectly. This is why we love using those punches. Look at that. And while I put these two pieces together, hey, if you have not subscribed to my channel, take a minute to click that great big red subscribe button. You'll get notifications whenever I'm back with a new video, and I try to share at least twice a week, so you'll want to check that out. Guys, it's time to put this together. We are simply going to adhere our focal image right here over to the left side. Did you love not having to do any coloring? That's all we need to do. Now, for my sentiment, I actually wanted to bring in Stampin' Dimensionals. I wanted to give it a little something. I love quick cards, but you know, if I'm going to do a quick card, I still want it to have a little wow factor. And I think Stampin' Dimensionals definitely make it a wow. It sets it apart. People are going to go, wait a minute, that's not a store-bought card. It's got some dimension on it. All right, we are going to take that sentiment, and you see I've kind of gone off that stamped image there just a little bit. Beautiful. Now it looks really nice, but do you want to add a little ribbon? Okay, well, how about some of this gorgeous blackberry striped ribbon? Guys, this is really, really soft. I love it. Of course, I love these deep, rich colors. I'm just going to create a simple knot. I love adding knots, not ribbon knots, to my cards. That looks about right. Down. And now to add this, I'm going to actually use a mini glue dot. This is my favorite way to add bows and ribbon knots and all these things. You just press it right onto the glue dot, and you can add that right there. And now it adds just a little bit more to the card. Okay, very, very simple, right? Would you like to create one more? Let's go ahead and do one more. I mean, it was a fast card. Let's go ahead and make one more. So we did kind of an elegant card. Let's do a whimsical card. This is a great thinking of you card in some bright colors. Vine Design is a fabulous stamp set. Look at all those long, narrow sentiments. Perfect for this card. All right, you remember our cutting. We cut this to 2 inches, the basic white to 2 inches, and then we cut it down to 3 3/4. Remember? All right, we've done that again. My card base, exactly the same. The 5.5 by 8.5, and this is in Mango Melody. So you notice on this one, we did some random stamping. So I'm going to bring in my Mango Melody ink pad and that little flower. And I'm just going to randomly stamp that flower here on my card base. I'm going to bring in my grid paper so I can go off that cardstock just a little bit. I'm not going to go all the way over. All right, let me set that off to the side. It's time for a little Granny Apple Green, because this is my fun, whimsical, bright card. There is our basic white, that fabulous leaf image, the vine image. Love, love, love this. I'm kind of more of a whimsical card person, but at the same time, I have people that I know are going to appreciate a more elegant card. So here we go. We've got that stamped. Now we need one more thing. That's our sentiment, of course. And since we're doing thinking of you cards, how about a thinking of you stamp? Hey, we're going to bring in the tuxedo black for this. So we're just going to ink up thinking of you. Remember, we stamp it over to the left side, just like so. All right, bringing back in our fabulous punches. I've adhered my sentiment. Now I will adhere my focal image. Let's add this here to the side of my card. I have my dimensionals there on the back of my sentiment. We'll add that one. We're going to add a little ribbon to this one as well. This is the glittered black organdy ribbon. Ooh, we got to love anything with sparkle. Hey, while I'm putting this last ribbon on, I have one more tip and trick to share with you. So as I do this, stick around. I got one more thing I want to share. Oh, and let me show you on this card, I did add some of the gold gilded gems. I thought those just added a little something. So we've stepped up the card. This is very pretty, right? But you must admit the little bling does a lot. All right, one more tip and trick. This card was created with fancy phrases. Again, look, sending a little smile your way. Another nice long sentiment. So it worked perfect with this. Now, this one I did in the soft sea foam and Sahara sand cardstock. This is the trick I wanted to share with you. Do you see my little ribbon? Well, we don't carry ribbon in that color. So what are you going to do? Well, you are going to bring in this gorgeous gold edged ribbon, and it's vanilla, but you notice mine is actually in So Saffron. And by the way, I colored those flowers in my Stampin' Blend. So those are my So Saffron Stampin' Blends. I'm going to take my dark Stampin' Blend. And remember that knot's little. So I'm just going to take this Stampin' Blend and I'm just going to color, oh, I don't know, what have I got? Maybe about 5 inches, just so I make sure I have enough. By the way, it's going to go all the way through. You're good. I didn't get the end. Don't worry about it. We're going to trim that off, so it's okay. Now you're going to want to let that dry for just a little bit. It is alcohol based, so it'll dry quickly. But right now, if I were to touch it, I'd probably have a little yellow on my hands. So when after that's good and dry, you can take that. You're going to tie it in a pretty little knot, and then you can simply trim down. There's that little end. I said, don't worry about it. Right, because we want to kind of bring these two edges together, and boom, I have a So Saffron ribbon when we don't even carry So Saffron ribbon. But I do, this is one reason I love the silver and the gold metallic edged ribbon, because I love being able to create any color ribbon I want. And you notice it's very satiny, so it's really pretty. And yep, there, we just added that to the bottom of this little card. You guys have already seen me create that. There's that Sahara sand, and I just stamped down there at the bottom. So let's go ahead and bring in our 3 thinking of you cards. I hope you guys enjoyed those, and it's one that you can create quickly, 5 minutes, and you're ready to mail a card. There you go, my friends. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hey, if you enjoyed the cards today, would you give me a thumbs up on YouTube? I always appreciate that. Thanks so much for being here. Make it a fabulous day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.